to define a class. So class means what? I told you the class identifies a particular generalized entity and we can make them specific using creating object. Okay, so how we create a class? I to use the class, then class name, and this curly brace begins, curly brace end, and I have to use here a semicolon which represent my class begins and class end here. Now here inside this curly brace I have to write the data members of my class. So data members can be a attribute of my class. Also I need to include the member functions. Member function which help us to access the attribute, which help us to access the attribute. 1 minute student. I think it's visible or not. Okay, so a class contains data members, means attribute of my class, and the member functions. Member function means what? I am going to access the data member using member functions. So if we say this student is my class, so student ID is my integer data type, a student name which is a character data type, and we have two methods, a read data and print data methods. So using this read data, I am able to access, I am going to save, or I can assign, initialize the value to these two variables, and print data able to display the data on the screen. So we have these two methods which operate on this data member, So always remember student, we have the access specifier. So these first two are called as the data members or the properties of the student class. Next two are called as the member functions which define the behavior of the student class. So we have access specifier for this. We have the access specifier. First one is the public, private, protected, and the default access specifiers. Okay. So public means what? Which is available to all. So access, anyone is able to access that data. So it is a public. So whenever we make something as a public, anyone is able to access. Like if I share a sheet with you, students, okay, and tell you to enter your information, sometimes it may happen somebody edit that data. So this is because we make them as a public. Okay, when something I need to be accessed by anyone, so that time I can make that as a public. Otherwise, I had to make it as a private. Private means it's my own class data members. I'm not allowing other to access that data members. Okay, unprotected is like whenever I am creating one attribute as a protected, that attribute is only accessible by the immediate derived class. It is only accessible by the immediate derived class. And default is a kind of access specifier. I can tell you this very easily so you can understand much better. Okay, see now, if we see this a parent class, okay, so we have one class which is parent class, okay, and we have one more class that is a derived class. If we see this logic, we have one class parent class and one class is a derived class. So in inheritance, a derived class is able to access the properties from the parent class. Okay. So how they can access? So I can make a different specifier for this. The first one is a private. A private means only the a data member of my parent class is able to access. Means only this will able to access that. Second one is public. Public access specifier help us. It can be accessed by anyone. So I have one more class here, extra. That class is also able to access the data members which may I have made as a public. So it is accessed by parent class, derived class, or any other class. Okay. So we can say it is a public. So we have one more access specifier, that is a protected. That is a 1 minute. Next access specifier is a protected access specifier. So protected of helpers, it is like only the derived class, immediate derived class. So it can be possible that we have one more derived class here. So immediate derived class means my parent class and its immediate derived class is able to access when I write the member specifier as a protected. Okay. And one more thing, sometimes I forgot to write anything. Sometimes I forgot to write anything. That time by default it is a private. Okay. So we have one more access specifier, that is a default. That is a default access specifier. Default means when I am not mentioning anything, when I am not mentioning any one of these things, that time it is a default. Default means in backend it is a private access specifier. So we know private is like only the member functions is able to access that data. Only the member function is able to access that data. Okay, up to this is okay, student?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I can show you by running that in Eclipse. Okay. So we can have one hour program in this Eclipse. So I'm now modifying this code only because it's not taking much time. Now always remember, object-oriented programming follows a bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach means I have to create a class before I write a main function. Okay. So here I have to write class. So class is in a small letter class. Okay. And my class name. So I'm writing a class student. Student is my class name. So let's remember curly brace begins. Curly brace end with semicolon is very important. With semicolon is important here. Now inside this I have to write the data members of the class. So how to write? So I have to write integer student, integer roll number, semicolon, uh, character array name, semicolon. I must write some marks, integer marks. Okay. So this way I am going to create my member attributes, or we can say the member variables. Now I have to create a function. So I have to write here void function name like we have created already. That time you have seen this get data, void display data. So what I did, I have written these two methods. So we have a get data method and we have a display data method. Those are returning the values, or those are returning void means nothing. Okay, this is my void display data. This is my void right get data. So what exactly we have? We have these member variables and these are two member functions. So now I have to use this outside my class. I have to use this outside my class. So here always remember to access outside a class. Okay, these are the member wave functions and I'm writing outside my class. That time I have to use a scope resolution operator. Okay, so scope resolution how to use? I have to write a return type first, then I have to write a class name second, then use a semicolon. Again I'm going to tell you, I have to use the return type first, then the class name, then the scope resolution operator. Scope resolution operator is like this, double colons if you see, and my function name. So this I am copying again here and writing here. So what exactly it did, students? Sometimes in our one program we have multiple classes. We have multiple classes. So we have Sometimes we have the similar kind of a function names, same kind of function names. So compiler is able to understand this get data is belong to which class. So this get data is belong to the class student. This display data is belonging to the class student. Okay. आतापर्यंत समजलं सगळ्यांना? Yes or no? Up to this is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, very good. So now I'm asking the persons to enter the information here. So how we can take the input from the user, students? How we can take the input from the users? Using which function?
CN.
Yes,
CN.
same. Very good. So now I'm asking for the enter the values using cout and take the input from the user using cin. Cout. Okay. Enter name. Sorry, enter roll number. I first ask roll number. Okay. Next, I'm adding endl only for taking it as on next slide. This is my enter a roll number. Next, enter a marks. Enter a enter name. Enter marks. Okay. So this is the cout statement. Very easy to write. So I have to use this insertion operator. Then the in double quotes, I have to use the characters which I need to display on the screen and the endl. Okay. Endl means new line. Now I need to add here a scene. Scene is like this. Scene. Okay. Scene and this roll number. Now again scene for the name. I am copying only for the purpose of saving my time. Okay. It is not like difficulties. If you face any difficulties, I can again type. Okay. If you wanted to. So what we did here, we have asked the person to enter the roll number, okay, and we scan this using scene function. Similar name and marks. Like this, we access the three things from the user. We want to access we can take the input from the user, roll number, name, and marks. Now we need to display that. So we are copying same code here and pasting here and only display. So I am going to remove this. Okay, so instead of this, I'm writing here. So what I did here, students, I only displaying that using cout roll number, and then printing the roll number values, cout name, printing the name, then marks. Okay. Now this name I have to use. After this, I'm writing endl because all these things need to be appear on the new lines. Endl. Endl. Okay. So now we have written our class as well as the functions into this. But which thing we miss? We have created a structure but still not assigned them values. Okay. So how to do this? We have to create a object of a class. Okay. We have to create an object of class. My class name is a student. My class name is a student. Now I have to use the object. So how to create object? A class name, then the object name. Class name and the object name. So I can tell you one more thing here. If you see this logic, we have integer data type. So how we write int and then a. So what exactly here it happens? A we define at integer data type. Integer data type. Now when I write this student st. So what we are specifying here, student? We are writing this st is my variable name, variable of type, a variable of type a student. So here is the data type is a student. A student here is working as a user defined data type. It is a user defined data type because we have created that data type. So we mentioned that this student is having these many attributes. So we can say it is a user defined data type. We can say it is a user defined data type. And this is a built-in data type. Built-in means which is defined by the, which is already been defined by the program. Okay, built-in data type. Built-in means what? The keywords which already been declared in the programming language. So always I told you this example, like in Marathi language, there are some words, okay, that words are similar, but they are having different meaning in different languages. Okay, so this we can say it is integer is a built-in data type. Here student we have created, so it is a user defined data type. User defined. User defined data type. Here it is. Okay, and so here st is working as a variable name, student is my class name. So if you see this st, now st, and we have to call a method st dot get data, get underscore data. Now st dot display data. Semicolon. Now let's check, or we have to again, I'm going to build this project. One error here. Okay, so now I told you one important thing is that, so this data, okay, this data which we are writing, we have to mention that it should be a public, okay, or we have to write it is a, like this, public access specifier, which indicates the data members are a public now. So if you see this, enter a roll number, it is asking me for entering the roll number 101, name is Dia, marks is a 95. So it is appearing like this. So students, here I am not getting the name correctly. I think I did some mistake over here. Okay, so I can check again. Okay, again we can write 101. Dia is name of the student. Next 95 marks. We see. So what I did now, students? See. So always remember one minute. Okay, always remember in C language, in our C++ language, there is a not a data type of a string. We have to use a character data type and to write the number of character into that which represents a string. So here a character array we have created and we specifically mention the data, how many values we need, how many characters we need in this. So we represent that we require 10 characters here. We are entering the name up to 10 characters. So it is similar to the string, but here it is a character array. It is a character array which includes 10 digits. Okay. So if we see this, I have mentioned here public. So what exactly public means? All the data members of my program is a public. So if I remove this student, if I remove this, you can able to see the result. So here, if you see, you can observe that get data and display data I can't access outside a class. So if you see this, I am writing this outside my class, but it is not allowed. Okay, because I am calling from here, get data and display data. Here it is showing me error. So we can have one option. We can make this attribute as a private and only the functions as a public. See. So what happened actually here? Here is the default access specifier. Default means these are private variable to this class. So I'm not accessing outside. So if you see this, it is also possible to access like this. st dot roll number here. So see out. Here I can able to write this. st means my object name dot my attribute name. So I can able to access like this. If I see, I can run this code. Here we can face the error because this roll number I'm accessing outside a class. So I can make all these things public. If you see this, so I'm writing now. It's easy because let's see, 101 name is Hina and marks is a 56. So if you see this, roll number is appearing again because we are accessing with that in a main. We are accessing that in a main. St dot roll number here because we make this roll number in a public scope. So public means anyone is able to access. Anyone means what? Any class, any main program, any functions, anyone is able to access. So we can make that as a private. Means I cannot mention if data type, then by default it is a private. If I run this code, you can observe the error. You can observe the error because here if you see, output is within this context. This is not known to this main program because private is the memory area which is only accessible by the member function of that class. So hope you understand up to this, student. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
what?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. So if I'm creating one more data variable, if I create a st2, so now see how much easy it is. How much easy it is. So st2 is the second student of a class. So I'm writing st2 here and calling these methods get data and display data. And all this specifies. So now we can run. Enter a roll number 101, name Hina, marks 89. So it is appearing roll number, name and marks 101 Hina and 89 marks. Now again I am writing roll number as 102, name is Dia, marks is a 89 again. So 102 Dia and 89. So how it easy? So we have created object by using a class name with the variable name of that class, second variable name, and second variable name means I am calling this method using st2. This is the second row. So what exactly happening in this, students? Okay, it is exactly like this. So here this st is a different memory location and this st2 is a different memory location. So whenever we create an object of a student class, these were allocated in different locations. These are allocated in different locations in the memory. So here we have the integer. So integer will require 2 bytes of a memory. 2 bytes of a memory. So here it is allocated. Then we have assigned a character array of name. So we have here roll number. We have a character name. So we have assigned a character require 1 byte. So we require a 10 bytes of a data for a character 10. Name, we have assigned a 10. It require a 10 data. Here, character will require 1 minute, students. It may confuse me also. 10 bits for 1 minute, students. It will be giving you confusion as is in C++. What happened actually? I taught this size of a character is a 4. 1 byte. Okay. So what happened? I taught this class variables in C language. I taught this C, C++, Java also I taught, and Python also multiple times. So this may happen. The data types are having different sizes in the different programming languages. So here it will require 1 byte means our 10 bytes we require for characters, and we have again a roll number. Roll number. So roll number is here. Sorry, roll number. Here is a name, and one more is a marks. Okay, so what we understand from here, students, this is the memory allocation for this st variable. Similar way we have the second memory allocation for this st2. So they are having not any kind of a contact in between them. Okay, so we there is one more option I can tell you after some ppt, static member functions. What is that? So here if you understand, this st is different, this st2 is different, so memory allocation is different for both the objects. Okay, so we understand the specifiers here. So we understand how to create my member functions. So I told you, if I am not writing anything, then the access specifier is a default access specifier. Default means a private. So we can make specific or specifiers using this keyword, that is public. Public means anyone is able to access that. So how to create object? Object creation is I have to write a class name, then the object name. So we can have multiple objects using this same class name. So student st1, student st2, student st3. So here if you see this, all are having different memory locations and they are having different values. So I am assigning roll number 101. So that roll number is happening here, Hina. Then we have written 102, Dia. So what exactly happening? We are allocating different attribute values to different objects. Like here, if you see the student ID is 10, name is Rama. Again here, student ID is 20, name is Stephen. Student ID 3, 30, 55 number, and Mary is the name of the student. So this is the different memory locations when we create an object. So we can have the array of objects. We can have the array of objects, like we have 50 students in a one class. So if I wanted to create a 50 students class, how we can create? Using array of objects. Okay, so several objects of the same class can be declared as the array. So we can have the look of this array of objects. So array of object is like, instead of creating a one object, two object, I can mention here two objects at a one time. Okay, we mention this we have, so always remember array. So if I am writing this array name, so it begins with a 0 and up to 9. So 10 character array is starting with a 0 up to 9 values. Means 0, it begins with a 0 like this. So if I am writing array of a 10 digits, so it index means to access this variable. Array means what? Array means sequence of values. We can say sequence of values. So they are storing in a sequence. Okay, sequence. Now it is integer array. If it is int and I am writing int a of 10. So what exactly happening? The 10 memory allocation is done in the memory. It begins with the 0th. It means that index of this. To access the particular data from this array, I have to use a particular index. So it is 0 and it is started from 0 up to 9. Like here is a 0, here it's 1, 2. Like this, we have last in 9. This if I wanted to store 10 data in the array, then I have to start index with a 0 and up to 9. So to access a particular element from the array, I have to use this index. If you see the array of objects, if you see the array of objects, st, then I'm writing a 10. So what exactly happening now? In memory, it begins with 0, so st of 0. St of 0 is other object. Like same way st of 1 is other object. Okay, so here it happens like similar way which we create array in the memory, similar way we create the array of objects too. Okay, if you see this array of object, so I can create this array of object st and my number of objects I wanted to. So now if you see, we needed two objects. So index of the first object is 0 and second object is 1. So I can write this st of 0 and we have one more object st of 1. So we have two objects using this. We have two objects st of 0, st of 1. Okay. Now I can assign this, I can call this method get data. I can call this again get display data. Okay, here also st1 dot get data st1 of display data. So what we did here, instead of creating separate object, we have created an array of objects. Then similar kind of object we have to use. So here if you see, this is my first object. Using this first object, we have called get data and display data method. Again with the second object, we have created get data and display data object method. So if you see, we can run this code again. So you will be appearing the same thing again here. 101 is the roll number. Name is Dia. We are writing. Marks is 89. Okay, again roll number 102. Name is a Sia and marks is a 85. So here if you see this 102 Sia and 85. So here if I create array of objects, okay, so it is like it is appearing one after the array in the memory. Like this is my st of st0, this is my st1. So array means what? It is allocated sequentially in the memory location. Okay. So if we create two objects differently, then we don't know at which place it is allocated in the memory. If I assign array of object, it is allocated one after the other in the same memory. Hope you understand up to this, students. Yes or no? Let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
समजलं का आतापर्यंत?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, so we learn defining. Okay, one more thing concept is there. Inline functions. Inline function is the function where we have to write the logic in the object class itself. Like I am creating one more function here, void, okay, data function, something which I am writing the code here itself. Cout. Welcome to my first program. So now this is what this function I am writing inside a class itself. Now I am calling using the same thing st of 0 dot data. St of 0 st of 1 dot data. It is not belonging to array of objects, students. So don't confuse between why I am writing with the array of objects. I can remove it. We're not giving you the confusion about the array and the object. Let's see. Okay. So now I remove this. I am only showing you inline functions. Then I run this code. Semicolon, where I missed the semicolon, students? If you see, semicolon before the token.
So after the cout statement.
Yes, here I missed. Okay. So student, what exactly 1 minute? I can add here and then. Welcome to my first program. If you see this, welcome to my first program. So this is appearing and we have written this within the class itself. When I'm writing this kind of a thing within a class itself, okay, within the main program itself, means function I'm not declaring outside. That function I am declaring inside my class. That function is called as inline function. This function is called as inline function. Okay, inline function is the logic where code get replaced when we call these functions. So like here, what happened with this function? We call when I declare this function, the control goes to this and access these values. Okay, here what exactly happening? Data is replaced. Okay, whenever we have the calling of this method, the output is whatever the functionality of that is replaced. Okay, so always remember short functions we can write in inline function, and whenever the size of function is large, we can enter that into the outside a class. So inline function is a function which is we are writing within the class itself. Whenever there is a small function, then we can write that in a class. Okay, if it is a large size, we can enter in a outside a class. Whenever it is a small, because whenever we call this function, the code get replaced in inline function. Code get replaced in inline function. But in our other functions, we call this. We call means the our control goes to that function, execute and come back. Control goes to that location, execute the logic and come back. That is the way of function. Inline means what? Whenever I call this function, that time the data gets replaced when we call. समजलं का काय म्हणायचं मला?
Yes, ma'am.
इनलाईन म्हणजे काय? जिथे आपण कॉल केला तिथे त्याचं लॉजिक रिप्लेस होतं. आणि अदर फंक्शन म्हणजे काय? मी कॉल केलेल्या जागेवर तो तिथे जातो, सगळं एक्झिक्यूट करतो आणि परत येतो लोकेशनवर. ते झालं साधा फंक्शन, सिंपल जे फंक्शन आहे. ओके, समजलं का दोन्ही मधले डिफरन्स? इनलाईन फंक्शन आणि दुसरं फंक्शन म्हणजे आपलं सिंपल मेंबर फंक्शन which we declare outside a class. So today we learn how to create a class, how to add a member function, member variables, member functions, access specifier, public, protected, private. We learn about inline function today. We learn about scope resolution operator. So if we create a function outside a class, how we can create using scope resolution operator. We also learn about array of objects today. So we learn lot of concepts today. So what you have to do? You have to practice, okay, all these things. So it will be easy for you to understand. So there are lots of concepts learn today. So